I head out, does anyone need medical attention in here?
Do it over here. Do it over here. I got you. I got you.
Taki, no!
Drop him.
Oh, that's one of our teammates.
War never.
Welcome to Foxhole, a game with more language barriers than an Alabama hillbilly being airdropped onto Tokyo.
А что случилось с фронтом, блядь? Мы вчера...
Stupid Russians.
Чего, блядь, Russians он сказал? You want denazification?
Amerikanski dурачок.
I'm not American, mate.
You know, we're all from the same country.
Foxhole is a massive multiplayer online infinitely simulated war between two factions. There's the Wardens, who are World War I French knockoffs, or Krieg offshoots if 40k is more your shtick. This was a mistake! Then there's the Colonials, who are supposed to be an amalgamation of World War I/II Americans and British, but based on my experience in the local voice chat, it's more like the Russians RPing as Americans.
Да, блядь, да.
Russia, нахуй, а Вардены это хохлы ебаные. Варден is Ukraine. I win.
Now, upon first glance, one might assume this to be a World War II top-down PlanetSide 2, in terms of its complexity. However, Foxhole is actually far more in-depth than that. In Foxhole, the players build and do everything. No, I don't mean just shooting.
Oh my. Oh my god!
The players literally do everything, from building bases, structures, and vehicles, gathering resources to do such, transporting said resources, setting up bunkers and pillboxes, digging trenches, setting up walls and gates, barbed wire fencing, and of course, then shooty shooty bang bang. Now before I go too much further, I should mention that right now Foxhole is getting review bombed by its long-running player base. Why? Well, it seems to be a protest against the devs' inaction in regards to implementing long-standing quality of life fixes that the community has been begging for, as well as just general stagnation in regards to patches and updates. I'm still fairly new to the game and community, so I can't speak to just how long the community has been waiting, or exactly what quality of life fixes are being demanded for, but I do think it's important to note that it's a thing while I overview the game. Gameplay and controls are very solid in this game. Everything from the driving and building to shooting and applying medical equipment is fairly intuitive, with a slight learning curve at most.
Hold still, you son of a bitch, so I can heal you.
By the way, quick PSA to remember to load your guns whenever you pick up a new one. You're welcome.
It was at this moment he knew. He fucked up.
The one thing that has felt somewhat janky to me so far, and I sense it's more a practice thing than anything, is the aiming. There's also some minor hiccups when it comes to climbing over slight inclines in this game, like when my soldier dude got frozen mid-climbing animation over some rocks. Essentially speaking, verticality is odd in Foxhole, but not a major frustration. There is one true negative to Foxhole that I have experienced, and it is also the best thing about the game. The community. For every awesome guy driving a transport in the middle of combat, giving you cover, or offering you a ride out of hell, there are the clans who mass report anyone who makes a basic mistake of trying to use a vehicle they had no way of knowing belonged to said clan. For every down-to-earth medic who sticks close to your battle line and helps patch you up in the trenches, you have the clans who mass report someone because a non-clan member questioned a clan member briefly. For every inspirational jokester bringing heart to the men right before a Hail Mary charge into the maw of the enemy, there is a clan that mass reports people for talking too much while they were strategizing nearby. It's honestly depressing how much the pendulum can swing for the kinds of community experiences you can have while playing Foxhole. There really is no solution to this problem. It is a social and competitive PvP game after all, but be warned, all potential new players to Foxhole, be wary of the clans. Tribalism in these games is extremely strong, and all it takes to nuke you from the game is enough mass reports, and several clans have insane egos. You've been warned. One last thing to cover before I give a recommendation or not for Foxhole is the question I'm sure any new player will have. Is the game a single war never-ending? No. Thankfully, wars do end and begin in Foxhole. They are always between the Wardens and the Colonials, but the given war is its own self-contained battle, and there is an end to it eventually. It is decided when one side gets together enough victory points by conquering key locations on the massive open-world map. Victory Towns, to be specific. The community is currently wrapping up War 100, and War 101 is supposed to be starting up in March. So, hope to see you there, new recruits. Oh yes, that does lead me to the conclusion of the video. Do I recommend Foxhole? Well, despite the current drama and the never-ending threat of mass reports from tight sphincter clanners, honestly, it's a game I think everyone should try at least once. The realism and freedom in the game are amazing to behold, and the concept is just brilliant. Though the execution isn't perfect, I'd say it's great enough for the asking price of $30 USD. Anyway, let me know what you crazy cats think in the comments below, and as always, please leave a like and subscribe.
Guardsmen, fellow countrymen, brothers and sisters, lend me your ears, for the sacred war of liberation shall soon be upon us. For there is no final defeat, nor no final victory. If we are to eradicate the colonial filth that infests our holy lands, then we must be prepared to ask the question, what are you willing to sacrifice for his eventual triumph? For no great thing has ever been achieved without sacrifice, and no sacrifice is too great. All hail Callahan, all hail the God Emperor of mankind. We shall now charge forth in glory to face the foes at the aforementioned sacred fight pit, and reclaim it for what is true and just in this world. Drop your loadouts and follow me, men, to victory. To victory! Gonna